c4.
c4. So now the bishop from f2.
Rook gd7.
Rook gd7. Well, reasonable move.
Yeah, he wants to. At some point, he will pick up on h5. I don't quite understand what the plan is after rook d5. I don't really know what.
Rook d5, bishop e1, bishop c3. White gets some.
No, you always this series of trades. Yes, black is now 2 pawns up, but finally white has, you know, or at least will have eventually some active pieces here.
Yeah,
rook d7,
perhaps
rook d5. I don't think maybe rook d7 was the best.
Yeah, perhaps
choice.
he'd better start with bishop c6. Yeah. So
bishop f7,
bishop f7, bishop e1.
Bishop e1. Yeah, I think maybe this was a slight misplay from black. I think
so
he's still in control, but he's made it slightly tricky for himself by queen e8. But still, you know, stuff is about to start falling.
Oh yeah, and you can't play rook f5, right? It's bishop e6 and
rook f6.
Rook f6. Well, I mean, I wouldn't mind probably.
Rook f5. Yeah, I think you need to make it as complicated as possible for black. So.
Yeah, that's right. So what happens if I go bishop e6 now?
Bishop c3 check, maybe even first. King
check,
h7,
king h7,
and then
rook f6. And then I wouldn't mind to simply change this rook exchange by playing, say, rook f7
or rook f8. Yeah, I can't choose. I can't choose which one.
So the other one is stuck on a3.
He started by king h7.
King h7, bishop c3. We are getting to the
we're headed towards the same position. Yeah. I mean, if you're very greedy, you can take on h5 here, I think. But bishop e6,
no, bishop e6
is more.
And then rook f7, huh? Isn't it?
Yeah, and this rook needs to be traded. You can't tolerate it for very long. So either rook f7 or rook f8. I mean, it's a matter of personal preference. Rook f7. Yeah, you're correct.
Rook f7. No, I mean, just point being to take if he takes to take with the queen, and then the other one falls on c4.
Queen d2 in some order is what white should be playing here. Either immediately or after taking on f7. Probably immediately, so that the rook doesn't get to d8.
Queen d2.
Queen d2. Trying to get to d6.
Perhaps it's the same. I take f6, I play queen f7, and you'll have to move the bishop, right? You don't want to go.
Similar. He goes rook g6, which is a curious move. Pavel immediately recaptures twice. And now he's how many
rook
pawns
a1.
Up? Rook a1.
It's not.
Rook h1, rook queen h2. If white could make 2 more moves in a row, he would have a tremendous attack on the king side. Maybe winning. Yeah, but h5, rook f5 will block off more or less everything.
h5 is played. Then
h5,
it's rook
d1. He went.
Tries to disturb this rook, and down on rook t7 he will have queen h2 possibly. With some ideas.
Actually, the king, the pawn on e4 is black's, you know, worst enemy in some respects here, because
the king is
king on e3 is very, very safe currently.
Yeah, well,
rook d7, and yes, queen h2 followed by queen h4, queen g5 is probably the biggest active plan white has, and this is what he does. But I think it can be well met by queen f7, queen f5, covering all of those squares. Also queen h4, queen e7 in some positions. Maybe even now queen e7.
Yeah, that's queen e7 now, but then what do you do after rook h1? Yeah, you don't want to play queen e7.
Oh, no, yeah, you need to land it on f5. You need to land it on f5. Queen f7, I mean, my initial idea was probably correct. Bring it over to f5, cement the entire structure. And then cover all of the entrance squares.
And then you are threatening to collect on c4.
Yeah, take on c4, d5, d4. And
yeah, take on c4, move the bishop back. Yes.
Yeah, once those pieces start, once those pawns start rolling, it will be very, very difficult to combat for white.
Well, but credit to Karjakin, he managed to find some counterplay.
He's fighting tremendously.
Yeah, queen d8 was the last move. So now rook h1 is answered with rook h7.
Slightly curious, yeah.
Well, still,
he's a bit. This is a bit too fanciful. I don't like giving white the option of maybe in some positions playing f5 check. I don't know in which positions, but yeah, I think. Well, but on the other hand, it's difficult for white to do very much.
Yeah,
and he also wants to play d5 take with the rook and with the queen, threatening queen d3, sort of super check.
Well, yeah, that's right. So it's
super check.
Actually, other way around. So no.
Bishop a1
followed by queen b2.
But I think d5 should be winning here, no?
One of the options
needs to be calculated though.
One of the options I'm looking at
probably is winning. D5, CD5, Rook D5, and if Queen B2, we can play Rook D3 check, King F2, and just play Queen D4
Queen
check.
D4.
And this endgame probably is lost. I mean, White wins some.
It is lost. I mean, you have already two passed pawns, one of them being.
Yeah, we are headed towards that. Queen B2, Rook D3 check.
Maybe there is even something better than that.
This is the position on the screen right now. You
Queen
cannot
D2.
take on D1. Let's just illustrate
Check.
why. Yeah, but okay. It matters more. King E2. I forgot about King E2. But still Queen D4. It doesn't really change anything. Yeah, I thought this changes something, but it doesn't.
Yeah, Queen D4.
Let's just illustrate why you cannot take, because there's this sneaky Queen H7 made here.
Yeah.
But you can.
How about Queen D4? How about Bishop C4? Strangely enough, is there a mate? Well, you do have a lot of checks, but
I mean,
that
is
it's a bit funny.
So incredibly inhuman to play chess.
No, it's check on E4.
You really don't want to do
right.
that.
Yeah, no.
Even if it's not that bad, and it probably isn't very good.
Yeah, that's right. Queen D4.
No, but Queen D4
practical
is just
nerve
such. But hang on a second. Now it's slightly better for White compared to the previous version.
So
because we can
takes. Yes.
We can
and
take
Bishop C4 and.
Yeah, but that probably is enough.
No, I mean it has to be enough. It's one pawn on D file plus potentially the G pawn, and the other one on the queen side.
Bishop C4, Bishop takes D4. I would probably take with the pawn here, right?
Even though Bishop takes is rather tempting. No, come on, Bishop takes is good enough.
No, I think you need to create distance between your passers.
Yeah, but I'll have the other one if I would take with the bishop. Bishop takes, King F5, and then I'll attack your A4 pawn. So I'll have like 2 pawns on E and A, and plus potential G.
And this is a very sad choice Sergey just made, Bishop C3, because it allows, let's say, A6 and B5. Because for as long as the bishop was on D4, Black couldn't really create a second passer on the queen side as easily. But now, A6 and A5 maybe also makes sense in some positions.
Bishop C3, A5 was played.
A5 was played, okay.
Bishop E1.
That's curious. He wants to stop the play with H4. And if Black plays Bishop B3 now, his plan is to take and play Bishop F2 and pick up one of those 2 pawns. You still need to be...
King E6.
You still need to be very precise here. King D4 maybe. Bishop C3.
King D4. There might be some problem with activating the king, because then it's H4 G3 in one moment if you go too far.
Yeah, that's very true. That is very true.
Bishop C3, so... Well, might be not that easy. I know, King D5, and then...
King D5, and then we can do...
I'm in the position to play Bishop
B3.
B3.
Then we can do Bishop B3. King D5, I think maybe you will have to maybe even start running with the F pawn, but then, I mean, it doesn't run very far. Let's say F5, Bishop B3, King D3, Bishop A4, F6, King E6, Bishop D4.
No, you could play Bishop E8, I guess.
Oh yeah, I could play Bishop E8, that's true. But I can play F6 here, forcing you to play King E6, and now takes, and once again Bishop D4. Yeah, I'm not sure this is easily winning.
I'd say, no, I have to keep the B pawn, right? I mean here, have to keep the B pawn after.
So he went back to F5, Bishop C3, and he's doing some kind of a triangular thing, King F6, but Bishop D2. So no.
Then I come back to this position when he took on D3 with the pawn, and I still believe that to take with the bishop was easier.
Yeah, maybe.
Because then my king from F5 would defend on E4. So I would have no
C3,
problem.
King F5. So this is the position. This is the position on the board. Bishop E1. I'm still not quite sure how we're making any progress with Black here. This is very curious. I think Sergey is claiming a threefold.
Is that? I mean, if it will be a threefold, that will be.
Hang on a second. Let's check. No. A5, Bishop E1 once.
It's been already.
Bishop E1
once. This story with.
Yeah, that seems to be actually end of game.
Well.
There actually seems to be, and